think it will show you up on screen here. Meeting is now live streamed on YouTube. Okay, there we go. And it should be coming up. It's doing the little thing in the background where it's cooking, right? And it says setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. We'll get started here, and we're going to start with, I'll do some general reminders and introductions. Then I'll ask our all-stars to introduce themselves. I'll ask a few of you if you'd like to introduce yourselves, and then we'll move into some Q&A and success story sharing with the group. We usually go for about an hour. Sometimes we go a little bit over. So if you do have a hard stop, I'll let you know that you can always watch the YouTube later for any portions of the call that you may have missed. And it looks like the live stream is up and going. You'd like to introduce yourself? There we go. Okay. All right. So there we go. There we have it. And I'm going to make myself a spotlight for everyone as we are getting started. Good morning and welcome. My name is Brenda Meller. I am your host for today's Friday VIP Job Seeker Office Hours. I first of all want to say welcome. I am glad that you're here today. Now, if you're on the call, you might not be glad that you're here, because if you're here, it means you are in career transition, unemployed, underemployed, laid off, like all these fancy corporate terms that mean that you're not working right now. And I want to let you know that you are welcome here and we are here for you. When you're in career transition, it can be a very emotional process, riding that roller coaster of emotions, right? Like some days you're feeling like, hi, you got a great interview, things are going well, and then they don't call you back and you feel like you've been ghosted or they went in another direction, and then you get a low, right? And I also feel like when you're in career transition, I've been here myself, by the way, you feel kind of isolated. Like one day you go from being a part of a team, the next day you're not part of a team, right? HR walked you to that office or pulled you on a Zoom phone call. It was on a Friday, right? And they say that, we've been doing some reductions and your position is being eliminated. They try to make it about the position and not about you, but it's about you. I mean, it's very personal to you, right? And you can feel very isolated because you're going from being a part of a team to being on your own. And I want you to look around the room here. We've got over 35 people on the phone call here today, and this is now your team, if you will, your tribe. And I want you to get comfortable introducing yourself. I'm going to drop my intro into chat right now, and I'll encourage you to do the same. What I want you to do is I want you to tell us, you don't need to say, hi, this is Brenda Meller, because Zoom will already say Brenda Meller to everyone in the chat, okay? But you do need to tell us your targeted job title. So give us one or two job titles that you're looking for. Tell us your target geographic area, and then do include your LinkedIn URL, making sure that it has the full HTTPS. The best way of getting your full LinkedIn URL is opening up your LinkedIn and then copying and pasting it. That way it's blue and it's clickable, and we can invite you to connect and we can start to build up a community of other people. Someone said, what does your shirt say? Living the dream. One of my, I guess, favorite expressions now that I'm on this side of the world, which is enthusiastically self-employed. I give myself the best performance reviews. I will never fire myself. I've got the best boss in the world. I really am living the dream. And I've been self-employed for about, 6 going on 7 years now. And I would not be here if it was not for my position being eliminated. So good things can happen. I never wanted to be self-employed. I admired people, but that universe nudging me forward was just what I needed to be here for all of you. What I do is I specialize in LinkedIn coaching, training. I do have some offerings and programs, including my Bootcamp with Brenda program, which is a LinkedIn online program with group coaching as a part of it. And I help people navigate the path to finding a job using LinkedIn. I also support people who are self-employed as well as employees of companies. And what I'd like to do now is I'm going to open up the floor to some individuals that I deem to be all-stars. These are people who also support the community of job seekers that are out there. And I'm going to pull them on screen in one at a time here. So Joey's going to be next. And then after I pull myself up, I'm going to put Sue behind him. So we're going to go through those individuals. If you are one of the people who supports the job seeking community, meaning you're a career coach, a career strategist, a resume writer, a LinkedIn coach, anything like that, use the raise hand function so I can find you, and then I'll pull you up on screen right now as we do our introductions. So Joey, you'll go first, followed by Sue, and you guys know how this works. So after you're done, the next person will just start automatically on there. So Joey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Brenda. Good morning, all. I'm Joey Himmelfarb. I am a retired salesperson. I sold for about 25 years in telecom, I've sold communications, I've sold real estate, I've sold swimming pools, I've sold cars, sales training. So I have a lot of experience in sales. As an author and a speaker, I teach people how to sell themselves in the job search. And I'm pretty qualified, I think, because I've sold a lot of things. And so for me, looking for work is selling yourself. My mantra is positive beats negative every day. So I'm on these calls to support you and help you and do my best to make sure you're staying on the positive side of the line as opposed to the negative. So, Sue, up to you.
Thanks, Joey. You didn't tell people your second book is coming soon. I can't wait to see it.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Great.
Thanks.
I'm Sue Griffey. I'm known as Sue Mentors in the virtual world. I have a global mentoring practice. It means I work with people all over the world, early morning, not always late at night, my time, but available to help us bridge this global world we're in and make sure that we have ways to communicate what we do. I'm best known for focusing on making sure you tell your story with evidence-based results. And you will see me bring pom-poms to everything, celebrating big wins, small wins, even the things you don't know you should celebrate, like getting a rejection letter. At least you're not getting ghosted. And I want to co-opt the stage for a minute and give Brenda pom-poms because John Espirian did an experiment yesterday trying to figure out what the AIs like ChatGPT and Claude could tell you about LinkedIn experts. And in my experiment of 3 lists that had people, Brenda was on 2 of them. And in other people's experiments, Brenda keeps coming up over and over again. Mostly, I love their description. She's an engaging and practical LinkedIn expert. So, congratulations to that. And on to Paul.
Paul, you are muted, sir. You could please. You got your sign?
Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. I am known as the project planning career coach. And I look at the job search process from a project management process and methodology. And my recent book, Take Control of Your Job Search, talks all about that with about 20 different worksheets taking you through the process from step 1 all the way through to getting the job. So I love working with you folks. I love helping people. And this morning, I want to just highlight one of the groups that I also co-facilitate called Executives in Job Transition. Somewhat similar to this, everybody gets 10 minutes in the limelight. And during your 10 minutes, you get to give us your 2-minute pitch, as well as an update on your job search, and then ask the group a question. And all of the people in the group then brainstorm during the rest of your 10 minutes to resolve your burning question that's keeping you from moving forward in your search. So if that's something you'd be interested in, please ping me and I'll be happy to get you the information. I've also put it in the chat already, but you're welcome to join us. It meets the 3rd Monday of each month at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And back to you, Brenda.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, so I have one other person that I see has joined us today, and I will wait for him to raise his hand if he would like me to introduce him. But I went through a program called Financial Peace University. It's the Dave Ramsey program. My husband and I just completed it, and it was a really great budget management, managing your money flow type of a program. I mentioned to him that I hold these calls, and he was the host of it. And I said, if you want to come out just to say hi to the group, feel free to do so. So he is on. If you would like to, that person, please use your raise hand function in Zoom. Go to your menu bar at the bottom and click on raise hand, and I'll let you say hi and introduce yourself because the work that you do is amazing. He volunteers his time to run the group. So I wanted to invite him into the group. Oh, here it is. Okay, Andy. I don't know if I told you come in and just watch the first one or if I said if you want to introduce yourself, but feel free if you'd like to introduce yourself, Andy.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Brenda. It is an absolute joy and an honor. Like Brenda said, my name is Andy Yoder. I'm from the Philadelphia area. I just threw in the chat box just a moment ago. It's like I empower people who feel strapped and trapped by money, achieve financial harmony. So like one of the things, like Brenda mentioned, I regularly lead Financial Peace University classes, and it is just so much fun helping people to have a generational life change. So feel free to connect with me further. Honored to be a part of the call today. Thank you, Brenda.
Great. Thank you, Andy. And feel free to drop your information into chat if you would like. We do have a few people that are not joining us today because there's a Jewish holiday that's occurring right now. So for those of you who celebrate, Happy New Year. Our good friend Kenneth Lang, I know, is not here for that reason. Another person, Diana Stevens, she's not Jewish, but she was feeling a little under the weather and is unable to be a part of our call here today. But I think many of you are familiar with Diana. She does work with people, helping them with, the job search process. And I've been doing some coaching with her lately. And she has a few things. I'm going to share her resources in the chat right now. I told her that I would do so from my behalf. And she also recently launched a coaching link as well. So I'm going to drop that into chat as well. If you're interested in working with her, highly, highly recommend it. And by the way, on that note, there's a lot of great people on the call here who do specialize in working with job seekers. These calls are free every month. So I'm going to pull back the curtain on this whole thing that we're doing here. So these calls are free every month. I have been doing these calls since the pandemic. Back in like 2020, 2021, we were doing these weekly, like every single week when people were losing jobs. I'm like, I got to help these people. We got to do what we can to help. My area of specialization is LinkedIn. So if you have LinkedIn questions, we'll answer some questions for you. But in order to keep these calls going, I have had to ask other people like Sue to come in, and Paul and Joey and Kenneth and Diana, and help me out. I need a team of all-stars that can help to answer questions. So I always like to encourage you, if you are interested in working with someone to help you with your resume or career strategy or other things like that, definitely reach out to the ALLSTARS because they are so generously giving their time to you week after week, I should say month after month now. And Diana was one person. I encourage her to set up a coaching call link, and she has, and I'm sharing that with her inside of the chat right now. So with that said, what we're going to do now is we're going to change gears, and I want to see if there's anyone here who is new joining us for the very first time here today. Type the word new in chat right now, and I'm going to call on maybe 2 individuals who are new to the call to introduce yourself. And make this really easy for you. I'm just going to ask you, how did you hear about us? And then tell us your targeted job title and your targeted geographic area. You never know who might be on the call, who's listening, who might have a career opportunity for you. So don't be shy about this. Okay, so we're going to go JC. You're going to go first. I'm going to bring you onto the spotlight. So JC will go first, and then Janine, you'll go second. So JC, if you could please, first of all, tell us, how did you hear about the call? And then
Sure.
tell us.
Hi, everyone. So actually, I knew somebody that landed recently, and we were just catching up, and she mentioned that there was this call that she attended, and she really liked it. And so she told me about it, and she put me in touch with your LinkedIn profile and told me about the Fridays VIP office hours.
Good. And then targeted job title and targeted geographic area.
So I'm targeting VP, Senior Director, level finance and FP&A roles. And I'm based out of the NYC near tri-state area. So, sort of as long as there's a decent commuting, I'm all for it.
Okay, very good. And there's an organization here in Metro Detroit. It's called UHY Resource Solutions Group, which does do sourcing for accounting and finance related roles. I think they're mainly in Metro Detroit, but occasionally they get national roles as well. I'll drop the link for their page inside of the chat if you might want to check them out. Sound good?
Thank you.
And Brenda, if I may just add for JC as well, there's an organization called FENG, Financial Executives Networking Group. They're a national organization based out of Connecticut, but they have local chapters all around the country, and it's all financial executives that are working to help network with each other. So if you reach out to me, I can get you connected.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I'm actually a member of the FANG, but thank you. I appreciate that. They are a great organization, by the way.
I felt like just now that was like the voice of God, like, who's speaking, right? I didn't know who was coming from. I was like, I think it might be Paul, but I wanted to bring you up on screen because there might be somebody else on the call who said, who was that guy who said that? Was it Fang or Fing or who was it on there? So thank you for that, Paul. If you could share the link in the chat, that would be great for Jason and others as well. All right, great. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here, JC. Okay. Next up will be Janine. And I'm not sure if Janine, if your video is on or not, if you're able to unmute yourself, please do so. Oh, there you are. Let me pull you up on screen here, Janine. Is it Janine? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
All right.
My name is
Welcome.
tricky, but
Yeah.
but both names are not easy because where's Vicky is not easy either. Now I say it not the way my family does because I've been with this family since I was about 21, and I've said it wrong ever since, and they don't seem to correct me. So it is probably Vijubisky or probably Wiersbisky, but I say where's Becky because it's easier to teach it. That's
There
my
you go.
way. It's just worked well for me and in my career, just to sort of distill my name because it does have a lot of letters that are not made to
Yeah.
go
So how
together.
did you hear about us, Janine?
So Stephanie Britton is my favorite collaborator, and she shared,
Okay.
"Hey, come on over to this site," and she said, "Hey, this has been a really been help for her. She just landed recently, and I just was part of the recent reductions at General Motors. So we were locked out of our computers on August 19th. So yay!"
Yeah. So there's another way you get locked out of your computers. Like it reminds me a bit of what was that movie? Office Space, the movie,
Yes,
or
yes,
the office?
yep,
Is it
yep.
Office Space or Office? I always forget the name of it. Where they're like, we're just gonna stop paying him paychecks, so the problem will just resolve itself. Like he'll
That
sit
was
here
Office Space because I have
right?
that. I have the stapler, right?
Do you the red stapler? Okay, so
Yeah.
like these are all the things that employers do to us. They think it's more humane,
Yeah.
like we'll just lock them out of their computers,
Right.
Wow. So we're glad that you are finding us, Janine, and remind us, what is your targeted job title and targeted geographic area?
So Michigan is where I'd like to stay. I have kids still in high school and college, so I'd like to stay here. Program management, project management is really where I've been living and working in the last, I'd say 10 years. But I've actually done a lot of work within CRM and in customer experience and then technology because software engineering and those areas is where I've been doing a lot of that project management work because we've got to plan the work and then get it done. And so we're getting those teams to pivot and change as every single change comes quickly for the teams. So partnering for success has been it's been really where I've come in and as a success. But part of it too is there's lots of vendors to coordinate and changes and making sure everyone's on the same page. So
Okay. I'm going to jump in if you don't mind, Janine, because I want to make sure we're getting through some introductions, but I also want to encourage for you and for others who we got to get succinct at this introduction.
Yep.
Like what's your targeted job title? What's your geographic area? When people start to ask questions, we can get more and this is very common. I did it too. Like you're like, here's all the stuff. But if you could drop your introduction inside of chat, Janine, I want to welcome you and thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry about the computer lockout thing. That was a very not nice thing of them to do, but
it's okay. I've done the other two with HP and EDS and they walked us out. So I'm not sure which is better. It's all good either way. I think we bounce back fine.
Yeah. And oops, I jumped you up a little bit quick there, but thank you for sharing the story. And I feel like sometimes when we share those stories, like other people are like, yeah, they did something like that to me too. And there's a process that you go through when you're a part of a organization and then all of a sudden you're not. There's the separation from the organization that happens on the corporate side. And then there's the separation that you go through as an individual, because a lot of times our identity is so wrapped up in our job, in our role, in our company. And even little things like, and tell me if you relate to this in chat, you have logoed merchandise from your company, logoed polo shirts, baseball caps, coffee mugs. I remember my last employer, I think I purged everything, just about everything right away, with the exception of that I had one favorite sweatshirt. And now I don't even wear that sweatshirt anymore. But we go through this thing because our employer becomes part of our identity. We share so much pride with that employer branding, right? And then it's like all of a sudden you're cut off from your computer and they're telling you, you're being escorted out to the parking lot. Like, what happened? I was part of the team and now I'm not part of the team, right? It's a weird thing that they go through. So at any rate, I want to share one additional thing. Janine made me think about the name pronunciation feature on LinkedIn. There is a way that if you have a tricky sounding first name or last name, or if people are frequently mispronouncing it, there's a way that you can enable the name pronunciation. It's through the LinkedIn mobile app, and you can add a sound bite of up to 10 seconds describing how to say your name. Hi, this is Mike Mortel. Hi, this is Mimi Wunderlich, or whatever the pronunciation is. I probably said it incorrectly. You have 10 seconds. So if I were you, I would use the first 3 to 4 seconds to say your name, and then the remaining 6 to 7 seconds to say and I'm looking for a VP of marketing position in Metro Detroit. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Like, give us a little plug of what you're looking for, because you never know when somebody listening to that soundbite might go, oh, I know of a VP of marketing in Metro Detroit, right? So it's an opportunity for you to promote yourself in here. All right, so now we've gotten through our introductions. We're going to shift gears and we are going to move into Q&A. So if you have a question, here's the format I want you to use. I want you to type in question and the word question in all caps. I'm going to do an example of this in chat right now. The word question in all caps, followed by typing in your full question. So I'm just using an example question. Do you like coffee? Because I like coffee, right? It's an easy short question to type in. So type in question in all caps, followed by your question. And if you have any questions regarding the job search process, maybe it's getting started, maybe it's you're feeling like you're stalling in the process, you're not getting recruiters calling you back. Maybe it's repositioning industries, maybe it's resume questions, maybe it's salary negotiation questions. Any questions that you have related to the job search process, type your question into chat and we will address those questions. I'm going to have my all-stars helping me out with the questions as well. If you have a success story, I want you to type the word success story in chat, just like I've done right now. You don't have to type in the full story. Just put success story in there if you could. And then I'll call on you and I'll ask you to unmute yourself and tell us your success story. A success might mean I got a job. I'm not going to be on these calls anymore. That's great. I'd love to see people leaving. This is probably the only call you hear people saying, like, I'm glad to not see you here because I know you're back to work. We're always here for you in the meantime. But if you have a success story, we want to hear it because I think it's important that we share those within the group because it's important to know that people are getting jobs. Maybe it's you got a job. Maybe it's you got an interview. Maybe you're in the process of salary negotiation. People are noticing you on LinkedIn. You know, you got your resume done. Whatever the success story is, I want you to put success story and then let's talk about it a little bit. Okay. So I see we have Jewel James with a success story. Jewel, are you able to unmute yourself and tell us what's going on with you? I see a bright smile there.
Good morning.
Like we got a little bit of a video delay, but are you
using? I apologize.
Did you use the phone dial-in option?
No, I'm on my laptop.
The audio sounds really smooth. If we start to get some audio hiccups, I will advise you to switch to phone audio. But right now, your video is is it just my computer or are you all seeing this too? It's like a little bit it's like a delayed in the video. I'm not sure if it's just my computer or not, but you're good. We can hear you clearly, Jewel. So
that is wonderful. So Brenda, as you know, I've been part of these VIP meetings off and on for about 2 years. Accident, lost my husband, relocated geographically, came back to my home field. I was always scared of that self-employed. I always felt that the W-4 and everything like that was the way to go. I am now officially self-employed, doing something totally different than my HR director recruiting roles. It's in the real estate industry. And I am absolutely loving life. It has been a complete game changer. And the reason that I came on and I wanted to share with you today is the fact that this gave me so much hope over the last 2 years that even though it was just bleak and dreary, the amount of, confidence that you guys exuded, the ideas, connecting with people on LinkedIn, it was just absolutely fabulous. Now, I could go for your entire hour telling you how grateful I am, but I'm not because I'm sure there's other people on there. Because if you remember, I was at the Paint Your Own Pottery store there in Reno one morning, and we were talking through all of that. So now I'm back in Ohio, and I'm just absolutely grateful for you and for the team, the ALLSTARS. I apologize. I'm missing Ken. He was fabulous. So make sure that you convey my gratitude to him as well.
Wonderful. So you're doing your own business now. Is that correct, Jewel?
It is. I support a group and a realty firm as what they call the transaction coordinator. So I handle all of the paperwork, make sure all the signatures are there, connect with the titles, the lenders, absolutely everything. And then honestly, anything and everything in between. from planning the parties, the get-togethers, the agent of the month, all the things. And it is absolutely fabulous.
Well, I want to say, first of all, just backtracking, I'm sorry for hearing about your husband. You mentioned that, and I'm sorry for your loss. I think it's always important when people tell us, I lost my mom, I lost my dad, like, let's acknowledge it, because as a human being, that's a huge loss. And I want to acknowledge that. I'm sorry for your loss. Second, on your LinkedIn profile, I pulled it up right now. So you haven't announced this yet, this new role,
No.
have you? Okay, so
No.
do you have a game plan for putting that up yet, or would you be open to some tips on that?
Absolutely. I am always open to hearing ideas from you.
Can I have permission to share your profile on screen as we're talking about this?
Sure.
Okay. So I always like to ask for permission before we do these things. So I'm going to share her profile up on screen right now. Here we go. So the reason I said it's not on your profile yet, right away when I visit your profile, Jewel, I noticed that it still says open to work inside the photo banner. So you'll want to turn that off so that you're not getting more opportunities coming to you. And then when we scroll down to your experience section, it looks like the last role that you had, it did have an end date in here. So my advice for you is there's a more visible way of doing this, and there's a less visible way of doing it. I'm going to give you both paths. The more visible way is you click in the experience section from your view, Jewel, there's going to be a plus sign up here. You click on plus, add new position. You type in the job title, the name of the company. Now you want to put the start date as the month that we are in right now if you want to get the visibility. So even if you started in September, you would put the start date as October of 2024, put in a little description blurb, make sure that notify network, that little green button at the top, is turned on. And this is recorded, so you can watch the playback as you're going through this at the end. So notify network is turned on. As soon as you click on save, LinkedIn will prepare a post that will say, I'm thrilled to announce I'm joining XYZ company as this position, and you can modify the text. You can change it, and you can even put a different graphic in there if you don't like the cheesy graphic they come up with. At that point, LinkedIn will push it out as a post publicly, and it will also put it into notifications. So I don't know if you've seen those before in your notifications. It will say, congratulate Jewel James on being named for this position. And, and then you'll get people direct messaging you, and you'll also get people congratulating you in the public timeline. Congratulations on your new role. And I say, hey, it's been a ride that we've been going through when we're in career transition. Let's enjoy the wave of congratulations. Let that roll over you, because you've been through some stuff and it hasn't been pleasant. So let's let that wave of congratulations roll over you and bask in the joy that you get from that. Not only is that good for your ego and your well-being, your mental health, but it's also good for your employer because it gives them some visibility. So it's giving them, visibility on LinkedIn, and all the people are going to be congratulating you. Some people are going to click to go to their page where they're going to learn more about your employer. So related to that, you might want to check with your employer first and say, hey, I'm going to do this notification on LinkedIn. Is it okay if I do so? I usually like to check with the organization first to make sure if they're doing any internal or board notifications about new employees. Like, you want your internal people to be aware of it first before it's announced on LinkedIn. Usually organizations don't care and they neglect their LinkedIn. By the way, if your company wants more out of LinkedIn, I do team training on how to use LinkedIn more effectively. A little plug there. At any rate, that's the public way of doing the big splash on it. Give it about a week or so, Jewel, and then you can go back and change the start date to the actual month that you started in, whether it was August or September or whatnot. And then that's kind of how to do that. If you want to do this a little bit more quietly, when you click on add position to your experience section, make sure notify network is turned off. And then at the end, after you click on save, it'll just appear inside here, but no big splash of notification is going to go out. As people stumble upon your profile, they'll see that you're back to work. But it won't be pushed out as a notification. And the last thing you'll want to do is go into your open to work settings. You can click on your profile photo at the top and it'll give you the opportunity to take that open to work off, because you don't want to be looking like you're looking for a job if you're back in a role. Makes sense? Okay, perfect. All right, I got a thumbs up. Okay, quick little diversion here. I'm going to remind all of you that we do have a private unlisted group on LinkedIn. I'm going to post the link inside of chat right now, and it's private and unlisted. Private means you cannot find the link unless I share it with you. Okay. Unlisted means when you join the group, it's not on your profile. It is unlisted. It's not going to appear publicly anywhere in your profile. And inside the group, our conversations are all private. Okay. Now, I would encourage you, this is called VIP Job Seeker Resources by Meller Marketing, but it's really for job seeker resources. It's not just my information. I want you to use this. If you come across job postings, you can share them inside the group. If there are articles, if there are events, if there's positions you come across, share them inside the group as well. Sometimes you might say, I know there was somebody looking for an account manager role. I think she was used to work with GM. I can't remember who she is, but here's a job for her. Like, share it inside the group, and there might be somebody who remembers who that person was. Oh, that was Janine. Like, we can share that along with those people. So feel free to use the group. Now, when you come to the group, it's kind of like a secret clubhouse, and you need to knock on the door and click on request group. And I need to admit you in. And I do that intentionally because they keep the right people in and the wrong people out. Okay, so I do invite select all-stars that are supporters of the job seeker community to come inside the group. But if I ever see someone from Primerica, for example, no offense to anybody who works for Primerica, but they're just overly aggressive, they're not my type, I will not allow them inside the group. I do allow people inside the group who are job seekers or who are supporters of the job seeking community and who've been a part of these calls. So the last thing is, if you're ever looking for resources related to these calls, go inside the group and say, does anyone have the chatter transcript? I was watching it on my phone. Someone will share it inside the group. Okay. So feel free to take what you need, leave what you need. It's like the little penny thing. Do they still do that at stores nowadays? Pennies are not like as big as they used to. But remember the little penny drop that they have at like the gas station where you can drop a penny in the bowl and take a penny if you need one. So the job seeker group is similar. Take what you need, leave what you need inside the group there. Okay. All right. Well, congratulations, Jewel. I love starting with success stories like that. So awesome to hear. And I want to move on next to a question from Karen Lim. Karen says, you're interviewing with different business functions, legal compliance, TA, and people ops for third round. Karen, if you're able to unmute yourself, and we'll pull you up on screen if you feel comfortable doing so. I think you are here.
Yes.
Okay, so research people have stories ready, but anything else? So tell us a little bit about what your question is here. What are you looking for?
Preparation. Is there anything I'm missing? Like, I know to research who you're interviewing with, have your car or star stories ready, but do you have any other tips to help me do this? They were going to have a panel interview and then they changed it and said, oh, you're going to meet with everybody separately. So now there's 4 interviews instead of 1.
Ooh, okay. So questions about getting ready for that interview. I see some hands raised from our all-stars. So Joey, you'll go first, followed by Paul. Go ahead.
So congratulations, Karen, a third round. That's impressive. So you must have done something right in the other 2 rounds to get you here. Do you know what that is? Do you know why they're bringing you back for a third round?
I think it was authenticity, and the job really aligns. Like, it wasn't just words to get the job. It really aligns with who I am. It's for a mental health company, and it's a senior HR business director role.
Excellent. So I would suggest, if you haven't already, role play the third round interview, even if it's in panel. Get a bunch of your friends together, make them be the panel. Have somebody videotape the mock interview. And you do that for several reasons. One is you want to see how you look during the interview. You want to watch your nonverbal communications, and you want to hear your answers, because the things that you hear will either, oh, I can't believe I said that, right? Don't bring that up again. Or, I'm so glad I said that. What a thoughtful, articulate answer. I got to make sure I bring that into the interview. So for me, that's the type of research you need to do. Sounds like you know what you need to do in terms of the industry and the job itself. Now bring yourself. Bring who you are. Sell yourself, because at the third round, they care what you know. They want to know that you care, right?
Gotcha.
And will you fit in? That's why you have all these interviews, right? They don't want to bring in a bad apple to spoil their bunch, right? So do your homework in that respect. Figure out who you are and what you look like and how you sound, and then next time tell us about when you start.
Great, thank you very much.
And Janine, remind us again, who is it this third round is going to be with?
Compliance, legal, talent acquisition, and people ops.
Okay, so I kind of agree with Joey that it's most likely, more than anything, a cultural fit interview. They'll ask you some questions related to the position and what they see as important. Since it's a panel, what I like to suggest to people is at the very beginning of the interview, literally ask this question of everybody on the panel.
Well, it's not going to be a panel. They decided not
that's
to
right.
do that.
The individuals, that's right. So I still ask people or recommend people ask this question at the beginning. What is it that's important to you about this role, right? Everybody's going to have their own perspective. Yeah, I know what the job description is. I've gone through the other interviews. I've heard what it's about, but I want to know from you, what do you see as the critical piece for this position? That can then help color how you answer all the rest of your questions from them. And then at the end of the interview, I always recommend everybody ask at the end of every interview with anybody these two questions. Hey, Karen, what do you like about me as a candidate for this job? Right? And you smile and shake your head. What do you like about me as a candidate for this position? And then you ask, is there anything else you need to know to take me to the next step? So that you're making sure that you answer all of their concerns. And the goal of those two questions is the first one is going to give you all the reasons why they're going to say yes to you. The second will hopefully give you one or no reasons why they're going to say no, which leaves them with one option. And you're going to remind them of that option then and say, well, sounds like I'm a perfect fit for this job. I hope you recommend me to the hiring manager.
Great. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to add to what Joey and Paul just shared. I'm going to share my LinkedIn profile as I'm doing this. And personally, what I would do if I were you, Kim, is I would first follow the company page on LinkedIn. And I'm going to just pull up Starbucks because I have coffee on the mind right now because I said, do you like coffee earlier? And I feel like Starbucks, I don't know if it's a safe example or not, but I'm going to use Starbucks as my example. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go follow their company page on LinkedIn. So you visit the page, you click on follow. The next thing I'm going to do is if they have a notify recruiters, I'm open to opportunities. I'm going to click on the about tab to see if they have that. Underneath overview, if you see this, interested in working with us in the future, click on I'm interested. Because you might have somebody who's a recruiter who's like trying to figure out at this point, how engaged of a candidate are you? And I agree with what Joey and Paul were saying. It sounds like this is a fit at this point, but they might be looking for, how are you different than some of the other candidates? And the recruiter might be weighing in and go, she's really engaged with our company page on LinkedIn. You know, she's done some things on here. So follow it. Click on I'm interested. The next thing I'm going to do is find a recent post and say something inside the post. I had this for my birthday drink. So I think you all know this with Starbucks. I'm just going to say so delicious. With Starbucks, if you have their app, you get a free drink on your birthday, and you can get any free drink on their birthday. Now there's the tall, the grande, and the big one. Is it venti? I think it's called the venti. It's like the you will never need this much coffee in your life size coffee drink, and they give it to you for free. So I always get like the biggest size coffee drink on my birthday, and I split it with my husband because I can't drink that much coffee, but it's free, right? So I had that one for my birthday. So I added a thoughtful comment to that post in there. So follow the page. I'm interested. Comment on a recent post. The other thing I would do personally, Karen, is I would reach out to the people I'm interviewing with or have already interviewed with. And if you have the free basic version of LinkedIn, you can only add a personal note to 5 of them each month. So use those for the people you haven't met with yet. Hi, Joey. We haven't met yet, but I'll be interviewing with you this week for the XYZ position at your organization. Let's connect on LinkedIn. And you might be going, that's kind of like brave and bold. Yeah, I want the job, right? I'm not messing around here. My counterparts are not going to do this because they're going to be squeamish, right? So I would do that with the people I haven't met yet. The people I've already met with, I would just, go to their profile and click on connect because you're going to run out of credits. And then after they accept, if they do accept, thanks, Paul, for accepting my LinkedIn invitation. Wherever you decide to go with the role, I just want to say it was a pleasure meeting with you and learning about your organization. I hope to be joining your team, but I hope to join your team, but please feel free to reach out if I can ever be a resource for you in the future. I just show them I'm not desperate. I just show them I'm personable. And, I'm not like only connecting for the job opportunity. I'm also connecting to be a good human being, a good network connection. Not a lot of people are going to do that, Karen. I would do it personally. Some people will not accept your invitation because you're interviewing with them right now and you're them. You're not part of them yet, right? They may only connect with people who are coworkers because they don't want to give you false hope. And that's okay. That's on them. You can't control that. All you can do is show them the type of professional you are and how you're using LinkedIn. Will this technique give you some additional visibility? Heck yeah, right? And this is kind of the name of the game at this point, right? We're trying to stand out from the competition. We're trying to make ourselves more visible. And I'm trying to supplement what you're doing with your interviewing efforts. The interview is like fit, right? LinkedIn is more like networking. It's how are we using this, right? And how are we leveraging the connections that we have inside there? All right, Karen, was this helpful for you?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Fantastic.
Hey, Brenda, I want to add one more thing if I can.
Sure.
And I'm going to share my screen because I'd like to get some feedback from the other All-Stars and you. A very, very successful executive recruiter, retained recruiter that I work with has started suggesting to her clients they use this kind of a giveaway last ditch, after the last interview, hand this to the people or send it to them as a tell me why I should hire you. And she said so far she's had 5 people do it and 4 of them got hired. So I don't know if it's going to be a good idea that works, but when I've seen it used and I've talked to other people about it, they seem interested and excited by the concept. Well, anybody here, what do you all think?
So I'm sorry, what was the advice or what was the question, Paul?
Yeah, so at the end of the last interview, you're going to email this to the hiring manager and say, here's why you should hire me, right? Why should you hire Jason?
Were you showing something on your screen? Because we're just seeing your desktop with like a mountain and a lake right now.
All right, wait
I was like waiting for the punchline. Were you guys all waiting for that?
Yeah.
Like, what's the punch?
Sorry about that.
I thought he was saying you should put a picture of a lake
there
on
you
your
go. No.
screensaver.
Oh, sorry. There you go. I must have hit the wrong screen to share.
Okay.
So why should you hire me, basically? And it gives a cute little story that gives a little more background about the person and the human side of why I'm a good
is this
fit.
tailored to the position, Paul, or is this just a generic? Okay.
No,
because I seem like that I was one of 7 adopted children. Is that relevant to the role?
It was apparently in this particular case. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Hey, I always like to hear about new techniques, doesn't hurt, might help, and could definitely give you some additional visibility. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
All right, awesome. Okay, I'm going to keep us moving along here. We got about 15 minutes to go here. And I see that there was one person requesting some feedback on LinkedIn. JC, if it's okay with you, I'm going to go to the question from Trisha first, and then we'll do your LinkedIn profile tips second. So Trisha, you had a question. I reached out to network with someone who sits on a team for a role I applied for. Trisha, if you're able to unmute yourself, I'm going to pull you up on screen here. Okay. So reach out to someone, sits on a team for a role. You're going to schedule an in-person networking, need to follow up, haven't gotten a confirmation. How do I treat them as an informal interview? So talk to us a little bit more about what's going on right now.
Well, it's kind of actually an ironic situation. So I was trying to find a little bit more about the team, and I reached out to, 2 or 3 people that I know work for the person that this position reports to. And it actually does happen to be a higher ed role. So I'm a little nervous about that in a good way, but also an odd way. And actually it was weird because I thought I had applied before I started all these networking reach outs. And then when I went to go verify, how long has it been? I realized I hadn't hit the submit button. All my stuff was sitting in the platform, and the person responded to me, okay, yeah, let's connect. And I said, well, do you want to meet in person or virtually? Because I'm here in town. He's like, well, let's do an in-person connection. And this was like 2 weeks ago. And he's like, well, why don't we do it like the week of October 6th? And I was like, okay. And he's like, well, let me get back to you on my time. He had chosen like the in-person, and I was like, you know, fine by me. I mean, virtual's faster, but sometimes there's that, especially in higher education, it's like really get to know you as a person versus just like on a video screen. And so anyway, so I still haven't heard from him. He reached out to me to say, oh, you know, I have to schedule something first, you know, let me get back to you. So we never actually scheduled like a time or a day.
Okay, so I'm going to jump
or
in here,
location.
Trisha, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
And I want to see if any of the All-Stars have any advice. It sounds like there's an open ask for an interview and it hasn't been booked yet. So what do I do? Like, how do I follow up? Is the
It's
question
not
that?
technically an interview. Like, I'm not sure if he even knows I applied for the job, but I just told him I was looking to find out more about the team, and I'm here in Pittsburgh, and like, so, but in my mind, I feel like it's an informal interview because I want to put my best foot forward. I don't think he
It's more of an
necessarily
informational interview at this point.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right, Joey has his hand raised. Joey, what do you have to say?
Sales 101, Trisha. Customers need to be touched 7 to 10 times before they even acknowledge the salesperson. You're the salesperson. This person who you're trying to reach is your client. Even though they're not hiring you, they're the person that you need help from.
Right.
Don't assume the worst.
Okay.
Just assume they're busy. Right? They're busy. And then, you know, just maybe they didn't see your request. Maybe they didn't hear you, whatever. Just send them another request. If it was an email, make a phone call. If it was a text, send an email, right? Just keep, I don't want to say barrage, right? Not every day, certainly not every hour, but just stay in touch because people are busy. People are busy.
Yeah, oh, for sure, especially this time of year in higher education.
Give this person the benefit of the doubt. If in fact they know the person that you want to work for, this is your golden ticket. All right. So just be upbeat and positive. Think positive. Now here's my disclaimer. I cannot guarantee that being positive will get you a positive result. Cannot guarantee that. I'm pretty sure if you're negative, you won't get the positive.
Right.
That's all I got to say. I'm done.
Okay. Fair enough.
I love the advice there too, Joey, and assume they want to, because it sounds like the person said, yes, let's do this. So I love Joey's point of like reaching out with a communication time. Like, and I always like, you're not trying to be aggressive. You're trying to be professional, nudging them. They're in a job where they've got things moving by them, you know, 100 miles an hour every day. And they're like, oh, and on top of this, I got to reach back to Trisha, and they just forget. It's like, it's on their list, but it's like item number 42.
Yeah. Do you have any language that you might recommend I use? Like maybe something like, hey, how's your calendar looking for next week?
What I would do
still on, or something like that.
Set up a free Calendly account. I think you can do one booking for free on Calendly. Set up a free Calendly account with a 15-minute booking. Hey, Jim, wanted to follow up with you and get some time scheduled to minimize emails back and forth. How about we use my Calendly to set up? And let me know if you prefer to do this by phone or Zoom, or if it's an in-person situation, you know, give them that option. But marketing on a silver platter, make it easy for them, instead of, because the next outreach is, do you still want to do it? And then they have to say yes. And then when do you want to do it? Like, let's just combine both of those outreaches into one message. You know, hey, Jim or Bill or David, whatever, would love to get on your calendar. I know you're probably busy. How about we use my scheduling tool? This is synced up with my calendar. Pick a date and time that works best for you. Happy to do this by phone if you prefer, or we can do it by Zoom. Again, my goal, I'm just looking to ask you some questions. I'm not asking you for a job. So letting them know the pressure's off there. You're just looking to do an informal discussion. Does that help, Trisha?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trisha, you're not designing the space shuttle. Don't overthink it. You're just asking for some help, right?
Right.
It's
right.
Be authentic, Karen. Be authentic, right? Be real. Be genuine. Be a freaking human being, right? And just cut through all the nonsense and just look. I just want some help, right? I'm not asking you for your child. I'm just asking for some information, right? That's it. Don't overthink it.
Okay. Thanks.
Somebody's got to get Joey a coffee mug that says this right now. Be a freaking human being. That's funny. All right.
I think it should say don't overthink it. That's like,
don't overthink it. Maybe that is it. Somebody correct that for me in chat right now. Thank you, Trisha, and best wishes. I know you've been on the call before, and I'm delighted to see that you're inside here. Okay, so we had 2 people asking for LinkedIn profile tips. I'm going to go Tammy first, because Tammy actually asked before JC did. We'll go Tammy first, and then we'll go to JC, and then we'll finish off our conversation here today. So, Tammy, are you on the call? If so, could you raise your hand so I can?
Sure, I'm here.
Is your video on? I'm trying to find you in here so I can bring you up on
My
screen.
video's not on, but I'm here.
Okay, so I have permission to share your profile on screen?
Please do so.
Okay, let me pull this up right now. And could you spell your first and last name for me?
Tammy, Tammi, Guidry, G as in George, UI, D as in David, RY.
There we go. Okay. All right. So Tammy's looking for some feedback on her profile. Tammy, again, if you could remind me, what is your targeted job title and targeted geographic area?
Director of Strategy and Execution in the New York City area.
Okay, so what I'm looking for, first of all, and I'll ask our all-stars, raise your hand if you want to give advice to Tammy in here as well. What I'm looking for, first of all, is does your targeted job title appear in your LinkedIn headline? And is what I'm seeing at the top of your profile all looking like you are a strategy director? It's in your headline. I see executive director of strategy. So we've got the right keywords in there. You've got spaces before and after your pipe symbol. So that's a good thing. I'm wondering with your headshot photo, Tammy, do you happen to have a headshot photo where it's smiling as a photo, or is that
I
a
do.
preference? Okay, I would probably change it to a smiling photo. I want you to think about this is the first impression you're giving people as they land on your profile. It's a great looking photo. It's well lit. We see your face, all those things, but just having a smile, like think about if they were to be greeting you in the lobby and you're holding out your hand to meet them, you'd probably have a small smile on your face. Having just that friendly look on there can help to create that positive impression in there. So that's some initial feedback I have. I want to see if Joey or Paul, do you have anything you'd like to add as advice for Tammy?
Not
Joey?
at this stuff. Maybe scroll down more, we'll see some other things.
Okay. And I'm not sure if Joey's still on too. Joey, if you want to jump in on anything on here. You still have, are you currently in career transition right now, Tammy?
I'm still employed, but I don't think that's going to be for long. My company's really laying off a lot of people this month.
Okay, sorry to hear. And I want to let you know if you're currently working or if you've recently been let go with a position, don't put an end date yet on your employment, because if you do, you won't come up in as many searches on LinkedIn. Some people, what they choose to do, because they mentally need to close that opportunity off, is they will add in, they'll create a position and it might just say executive strategy director at currently seeking opportunities. So you can link it to a company page that's called currently seeking opportunities in the meantime. So that might be something to think about perhaps in the future, but I think for now, keep it open in there for now and just address in the interviews that if and when you are in career transition. Joey, I see your hand is raised. Did you want to add something here?
Yeah, I just, Tammy, the fact that you're employed puts you in a better place, obviously, than unemployed. And you don't want to get that call, or you don't want to be locked out of your computer like the other woman was. Reach into your network, people that you know, people that can help you, people that know people that you don't know, because everybody you meet knows 250 people you don't know. Some of you heard this speak 1,000 times. I apologize, but those are the people who can help you. So while you're still employed, reach out to people you haven't spoken to in a while, clients or customers, if that's who you talk to on a regular basis, and just don't tell them you're looking for work. Just stay in touch. Stay in touch and just talk to people and cultivate that garden, if you will. Make sure you're getting rid of all the weeds and you're growing a really healthy garden of a network of people that you have already accumulated over the years, certainly at this job for sure, but over your career. And these are the people that will help you if, in fact, you do get that proverbial phone call.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, Tammy, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully that advice helped you, and let us know if we can be of additional assistance for you. We're going to move on to JC, and we'll probably finish this up, the phone call with JC. JC, could you unmute yourself and tell me the spelling of your first and last name, and I'll pull your profile up here.
Sure. So it's James.
Okay.
And last name is CLAV in Victor. Yeah, the second one.
This one right here? Okay, looks like we're connected. Okay, James, as I'm pulling this up on screen, can you remind us what is your targeted job title and targeted geographic area?
VP or Senior Director of Finance, FP&A in the New York and Tri-State area.
Okay, very good. So what I'm seeing in the headline, I always like to start with this, is you have at least one of your targeted job titles that are inside that headline. And I see that your header image is aligning with that. We've got a pleasant looking photo that's inside there. I'm going to scroll down until I can find one piece of advice for you, and then I will give the floor over to our all-stars to see if anyone else has any advice for you there. Okay, so let's see here. You got some good descriptions in here. I want to let you know, for you, JC, and for others, anytime you use bolding text in your LinkedIn profile, I like it because it helps with readability, but I do want you to keep in mind that these words are not read as words. So they won't come up in searches on LinkedIn because LinkedIn will read formatted text as pictures. So make sure if you have the word financial planning in bolded text, it also is in non-bolded text in that same paragraph. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So you could put a heading called financial planning and analysis, and you could say budget forecasting, financial planning, and like put an additional word in there.
Right.
And that does help you to come up in some more searches there. Okay, so you've got some really good things on your profile here. You're posting regularly, it looks like. You've got some featured items that are inside here. I want to encourage you. It looks like you last posted 2 weeks ago. Prior to that, it was 3 months ago. So I want to encourage you, JC, at least once a week, you should be posting something, preferably something that showcases your expertise as a vice president. So it could be leadership quotes. If you're talking about finance trends and strategies, that might be helpful. You could repost from another person or page if you'd like on there, but that helps to keep you out into the homepage feed regularly. And the flip side is, are you engaging with others regularly? So it looks like you are commenting, you're engaging with other people's posts. So that's going to help you to come up in the homepage feed more often. So that's looking good there. Paul, I see your hand is raised. What other advice do you have for JC?
Yeah, and I'm looking mostly at the posts and comments as well. And JC, it doesn't look to me, and I'm just doing this a quick scroll. Are you commenting on posts from the employers that you're interested in? Because if not, that's the people you should be commenting on.
I am, but right now I'm sort of so rather than identify the specific companies, I'm kind of still narrowing it down. So that's why I haven't engaged specifically with posts from the companies themselves.
Okay, great. And in your own posts, right, ask some questions, start getting some engagement, get people to talk to you and respond back and forth. You know, make this comments and posts that you're doing a conversation with the people that are in there. That way they come to know you, you come to know them. And if you're not already connected as a first level, once you've had a couple of exchanges, they'll be more likely to want to make you a first level connection. And that can be a way to get into the employer.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Cool. Was that helpful, JC?
Yeah, very helpful. Thank you.
All right, very good. Okay, I'm going to bring us all back together here. Let me just take my name off of the spotlight. I see Christopher Johnson is with us. Christopher Johnson, do you guys know Christopher Johnson is now a LinkedIn top voice? Yes, true story. Do you have the badge on your profile yet? Did they give it to you yet? Do you want to share your screen? Let me make you a co-host. Do you want to share your screen? Yes, you do. You're being voluntold to share your screen. This is a big deal, Christopher. Not everybody gets this. This is like he's been tapped from LinkedIn. This isn't the gold badge that we can all earn from collaborative articles, which, by the way, are going away. This is the blue badge. This is the LinkedIn tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, are you Christopher Johnson? We would like to make you a top voice on LinkedIn." So we'll see if you can share a screen there.
Well, thank you very much. And here's the funny thing. How did it happen? Not a clue. Somebody else pointed it out to me. I said, oh? So yeah. And I have also added it into...
oh, it is there. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you added it in your headline too, LinkedIn top voice.
I saw that other people had done that, and I thought, well, you know what? That's not a bad idea.
Especially
from the best.
Brand spanking new news right now. So that's very exciting for you. And Christopher is always helping me. I know you weren't on at the beginning of the call here today, but would you like to give your brief introduction? Because you're one of our all-stars and I want to make sure I'm giving you the floor today.
Well, thank you very much. Sure. Christopher Johnson. So the name of my company is Calm Clear Media. What I do is I help speakers, trainers, authors have a better Zoom experience by taking away the tech headache. so they can focus on their message.
Oh, love
And
it.
feel free to scan my QR code and connect with me on LinkedIn and let me know how I can help you overcome a technology challenge.
And when he said scan my QR code, you'll see he has it in the back of his Zoom, which is a really brilliant technique that you as a job seeker could use as well. Create a custom background. You can use the site canva.com, which is free. It's like graphic design for dummies. It's really easy to use. You can create a Canva background, create a QR code. I think you can create the QR code for free inside Canva as well, if I'm not mistaken, right? So have that
Absolutely.
QR code go to your LinkedIn profile. And that way, when people are on these calls and you get spotlighted, as I'm doing right now with Christopher, by the way, you don't have to download any fancy software for QR codes. If you guys want to try this right now, I'm going to hold my phone up to try this right now. Just hold your phone up as if you're taking a picture to the screen and get it pretty close to the screen where you see the QR code. And your phone should load up the LinkedIn URL for Christopher. And then you can quickly it'll automatically load you to his profile. My phone's not working right now as I'm demonstrating this, but it should hypothetically pull you back up and then you can visit Christopher's profile, which could be an amazing technique for you as a job seeker because you never know where the future may lead. You never know who you're networking with on these calls. And, especially for those of you who are using a background that's, uploaded background, I think this is a really great technique. So Christopher, congratulations on your award. Very proud of you. And thank you for joining us on the call.
Always a pleasure being in the VIP community. So thanks, Brenda.
Absolutely. Okay. I am going to change us to the gallery view as we wrap up our phone call here today. And I just want to go through the list of everyone who's been here and say hi and thank you to all of you for attending. Thank you to our All-Stars, Joey, Paul, and Christopher, and Sue for joining us here today. Thank you to JC, Aine, Christine, David B, David M, Diane, Eileen, Elena, Esmeralda, Janine, Jewel, Julie, Karen, Katie, Lean, Michael, Michelle E, Michelle T, Mike M, Mimi, Nicole, nice to see you again. Ray, Scott M, Scott B, Scott V. We've got a club of Scotts in the house here. Sophie, Tammy, Trisha, Vic the Pie Man, always makes me smile, and Wendy. I'll remind all of you that we are here on the first Friday of every month. This is Friday VIP Job Seeker Office Hours, open to anyone in any job title category. Anyone that you know in career transition, please send them to me and I will send them information about our Friday VIP calls. Alternatively, if you see somebody posting on LinkedIn that they're struggling with their job search, tag me into comments and just say something like @Brenda Meller may have some resources to help you. That's like you're winking to me and I'll wink back to you and I'll reply back and I'll say, thanks for tagging me in, Jewel. Paul, here's my upcoming Friday VIP office hours link and I'll put the link in there that will invite them in. I'll let all of you know that the link that you used for today's call is the same Zoom link that we use for every one of these phone calls. And if you register once, you don't have to register again. It's the same link that you come in. If you ever can't find the link, you can re-register yourself. Okay, so make sure that you do that. With that said, I want you to know this is temporary. This too shall pass. You will get another job. Someday you're not going to be on these calls. You're going to be back at work on a Friday and you're going to go like, wow, those were really a lot of fun to be on those calls, right? But in the meantime, I want you to know that we are here for you. And we are part of your team. So do make sure that you connect with other individuals. You can download the chat before you're leaving here. And that will be my final reminder to all of you. If you go to the chat area and at the top of it, where it says the name of the event, there's 3 little dots next to it. When you click on the 3 little dots in the chat area, you'll get an option that will save chat. And that will save a copy of the chat down to your downloads folder. Now, if you happen to be watching this phone call today on a phone or a tablet and you're not able to download, go into chat and say, can someone email it to me? Someone from the group will help you. I will not be able to because I got to go take my dog Pepper for a walk as soon as we're done here. I'll keep the Zoom open for just a few moments while you all are doing that download. But with that said, I look forward to seeing you again next month on the first Friday of the month. That will be on Friday, November 1st. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and post your questions inside our private unlisted job seeker group. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Congratulations to the job seekers that are back to work. And thank you again to the All-Stars for helping. I will see you all on LinkedIn. Take care, everyone.
Hasta la vista, baby. Ciao. Arrivederci.